Well, good morning, Sanuvar and Kanchan. Good morning, both of you. So today we are going to continue from where we ended in the last class.
Good morning, both of you. So today we are going to.
Okay. So please see here. For example, we have concluded there. See, there's a conversation between Dairy and Mr. Lamb. Okay, between Dairy and about having the bright side. Okay, having always considering the bright side of a person. Okay, so that is what Master Dairy has become very much negative, because one side of his face has become burnt. Okay, therefore everyone looks at him with sort of hatred, or you can say with kind of uneasiness. Therefore Daddy is very much disappointed, is frustrated. Okay, but Mr. Lamb is the mouthpiece of the writer in this story. Therefore Mr. Lamb wants Master Daddy to understand that it's not the external face or external appearance always that matters. Develop your inner qualities. Okay, develop your personality. Okay, and grow up on the basis of your positive thoughts, so that you can make a difference to the world. Okay, so Daddy here represents the ordinary people, actually ordinary people who look at the external appearance of people, and normally people look at the external appearance only. So Daddy has also reason to become upset about, because one side of his face is totally burnt. But Mr. Lamb, being an elderly person and being the mouthpiece of the writer in this story, wants to convey the message to Dairy that external appearance does not always matter. Okay, it is, then he said, no, like handsome is that handsome does. It's not what you look like, it's what you are inside that matters. Okay, so Dairy has heard people say all this to him before Lamb. That is why Daddy is again quoting the words of those people who have already told, okay, or who which Daddy might have heard from the storybook also. Okay, like it's not what you look like, it's what you are inside, or handsome is as handsome does. Okay, so but Daddy thinks that practically speaking, people first see your external appearance. Okay, therefore Daddy is not convinced by such stories that he has heard, such motivating thoughts that he has heard before. So now Mr. Lamb is trying to bring about a change in the perspective of Daddy, okay, with his conversation. Okay, so let's find out what happened. Okay, so we have stopped here. Let us start from here, Mr. Lamb's statement. Okay, so let's start from Mr. Lamb's statement. The world's got a whole face, and the world's there to be looked at. Now, do you think this is the world, this old garden, when I'm here, not the only one, but the world as much as anywhere? Does your leg hurt you? Then Mr. Lamb says, teen does not hurt, boy. Okay, teen does not hurt. When it came off, did it? Certainly. Okay, so Mr. Lamb is also handicapped. Okay, one of his legs is not there, so he has got an artificial teen leg. Okay, so Mr. Lamb, you can see this highlighted part. The world's got a whole face, and the world's there to be looked at. Okay, Mr. Lamb wants to say that it's not only your face. Look at the face of the world. Okay, what is happening, how many people are suffering. Okay, so then your own suffering and your own disappointment will go away. Okay, but Davy, being a small boy, does not understand the philosophical implication of Mr. Lamb's statement. Therefore he keeps asking several more questions. Okay, so then Derry says, and now, I mean, where the teen stops at the top. Now and then, Mr. Lamb says, now and then I have problem with the tin. In wet weather, it does not signify. Oh, that's something else. They all say, look at all those people who are in pain and brave and never cry and never complain and don't feel sorry for themselves. Okay, so Daddy is also here repeating about those people, okay, who say, they look at all those people who are in pain and brave and never cry and never complain and don't feel sorry for themselves. Okay, because Daddy has heard all these motivating statements before, but he knows that in practical life it does not work. Okay, practical life people will value you, or people you will devalue you based on what you have, what you look, and what you do. Okay, Mr. Lamb says, I haven't said it. Mr. Lamb says, I haven't said this statement. Daddy says, and think of all those people worse off than you. Think, you might have been blinded or born deaf, or have to live in a wheelchair, or be daft in your head and dribble. Okay, so here Derry is again quoting some statements from the book, or might be some people told him. Okay, but he is not convinced about this. Okay, some people say, like if you are suffering from something, some people might say, think about those people who are worse than you, like those people who might have been born blinded, or think about yourself. Some people keep saying like this, like think about you, if you were born blinded or if you were born deaf, in that case your situation would be much worse. Understood? So Derry has heard these kind of motivating statements before, but he does not have faith in such statements. Okay, that is why he is repeating out of fun. Out of fun he is repeating those statements. Then Mr. Lamb says, and that's all true, you know it. Derry, it won't make my face change. Mr. Lamb says, and that's all true, and you know it. That's all true what you just made reference of. They are all correct. Okay, they are all correct. Because there are many people in the world who are suffering more than us. There are many people who are less advantaged than us. So if you think of them, our own problem, our own suffering, becomes almost nothing. Okay, so therefore Mr. Lamb says, of course what you have just spoken is correct. Then Derry says, but these kind of motivating statements won't make my face change. Will these statements make my face change? Do you know, one day a woman went by me in the street. I was at a bus stop and she was with another woman, and she looked at me and she said, whispered, only I heard her, she said, look at that, that's a terrible thing, that's a face only a mother could love. Okay, so Derry has reasons to become so very much disappointed. Okay, Derry has reasons to become disappointed because one day he heard a woman say like this, okay, about him. Okay, so he has reasons to feel disappointed. Understood? So you believe everything you hear then? The Mr. Lamb is trying to distract his attention and also trying to encourage him, saying that, so do you believe everything that you hear? Okay, if a woman has said something like that, let us say that Derry said, but it was cruel, means it was a very cruel statement on the part of the woman. Mr. Lamb says, maybe not meant as such, just something said between them. Okay, but Mr. Lamb is trying to comfort Derry, saying that maybe not meant as such. Okay, she may not have meant, just she said casually something like that. Okay, Derry says, only I heard it. I heard. So I have heard it, so I know that she means what she says. Okay, she means what she says. And is that the only thing you ever heard anyone say in your life? Derry says, oh no, I have heard a lot of things. So Mr. Lamb says, so now you keep your ear shut. You keep your ear shut. People will keep telling this or that. You don't listen to all this. Okay, because many people will say many things. So keep your ear shut. Derry, you are peculiar. You say peculiar things. You ask questions I don't understand. Okay, so he says you are a peculiar person. What you say I don't understand, and you ask peculiar things also. Mr. Lamb in reply says, I like to talk, have company, I need to have company. I do not have any company. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to stop here at all. The gates open. Okay. And then Mr. Lamb became a bit irritated, might be saying, you don't have to answer my questions if you don't understand it. You don't have to stop here also. The gate is always open. If you don't like my company, you can leave. But I like the company of people, therefore I interact with you. Derry says, yes, the gate is open, I know, but see, after but he has stopped here. What he means? Derry means to say that I know the gate is open, but I don't want to leave your company. It means Derry has started enjoying the company of Mr. Lamb. Okay, even though there's a huge difference between the age of Derry and Mr. Lamb, in spite of that, Derry seems to have become motivated or inspired to spare his time in the company of Mr. Lamb. Okay. So, Kanchan, Sanuvar, are you there? Are you connected? If you are connected with me, please write yes, so that I will continue with my lecture, or else I will take leave. Sanuvar and Kanchan, are you listening to me? I have a hive of bees behind those trees over there. Some hear bees and they say bees buzz. But when you listen to bees for a long time, they hum. Hum means sing, they sing. I hear them singing, my bees. Okay, it means Mr. Lamb does not have any human company, so he has made himself used to listening to the humming of the bees and the singing of the bees. Okay, so he seems to have developed the interest in the company of nature. Okay, Derry says, but I like it here. I like your company here. I came in because I liked it when I looked over the wall. Then Mr. Lamb says, if you had seen me, you would not have come in. If you had seen me, you would not have come in. If you had seen me, it means if you could not find me. If you had seen me, you would not have come in. If you when you were entering the gate, if you had seen me, you would not have probably entered my room. Derry says no. Mr. Lamb says no. Derry says it would have been trespassing. Okay. Derry says it would have been trespassing because if I had entered after seeing you sitting somewhere in the garden without your permission, then it would have been trespassing. Trespassing, dear students, means entering someone's territory without being noticed by anyone, or entering someone's territory without taking permission from that person. Okay. So that is what is trespassing. So Derry says that if in your presence I would have entered your garden, then it would have been trespassing. Mr. Lamb says, that's not why. Derry, I don't like being near people. Derry says, I don't like being near people because he has already become disappointed. He has become frustrated with his life for having a burned face. Therefore, he does not like to spare his time in the company of people. When they stare, when I see them being afraid of me, because they keep staring at me whenever they catch a glimpse of my burned face, they stare at me, and I'm very much, they are afraid of me, not me, because they keep staring at my burned face, and then they become afraid of me. They start whispering into each other's ears about me. They talk about me. That is why the way they stare at me and the way they become afraid of me makes me very much uncomfortable. That is why I don't like people being near me. Mr. Lamb, you could lock yourself up in a room and never leave it. You could lock yourself up in a room and never leave it. There was a man who did that. He was afraid, you see, of everything. Everything in this world. A bus might run him over, or a man might breathe deadly jumps onto him, or a donkey might kick him to death, or lightning might strike him down, or he might love a girl and the girl would leave him, and he might slip on a banana skin and fall, and people who saw him would laugh their heads off. So he went into this room and locked the door and got into his bed and stayed there. Okay, so here Mr. Lamb, he seems to be very much humorous. He's telling a story about a man who did that, who locked himself up inside a room because he was very much scared of something or the other outside. Therefore, he used to always keep himself confined indoors. And then what happened? Then Daddy got interest in this story and then said, forever did he lock himself up inside his room? For a while. Then what? Daddy said, then what is the problem? Then Mr. Lamb says, a picture fell off the wall onto his head and killed him. Okay, because he could not stay there for a long time, because inside his house, inside his room, a picture fell off the wall on his head, and then he got killed. Daddy laughs a lot. Mr. Lamb, you see? Mr. Lamb says, you see, Daddy, but you still say peculiar things, peculiar to some. Daddy says, what do you do all day? Daddy is asking Mr. Lamb, because Mr. Lamb does not appear to be in the company of people, so he is all alone. And he is having such a big house and then garden. Therefore, Daddy is asking, what do you do all day? Mr. Lamb says, sit in the sun, read books. I tend to spend a lot of time in the company of nature. I sit outside in my garden and I read books. I read a lot of books. Okay, whenever I need the company, there is nature with me and books also for me. So that is how I spare my time. I spend my time. You thought it was an empty house, but inside is full, books and other things full. Then he says to Daddy, like, you think I've got an empty house? No, inside which lot of stuff are available, like books and many other things available. The room is full, it's not empty. The house is not empty. Daddy says, but there aren't any curtains at the windows. But there are no curtains at the windows. Mr. Lamb says, I'm not fond of curtains. Shutting things out, shutting things in. I like the light and the darkness and the windows open to hear the wind. Mr. Lamb says, I don't like to confine I don't like to have curtains because I don't want to shut things out, okay, and shut things in. I like the natural light to enter my room and remove the darkness, and I want the windows to be open without any curtain so that I can have some kind of touch with nature, okay, so that I can hear the wind. Daddy, yes, I like that. When it's raining, I like to hear it on the roof. And Daddy also supports his Mr. Lamb, saying that I also like to keep my windows open because when it rains, I like to hear the tapping sound of the rain on the roof. Mr. Lamb, so you are not lost, are you? Not altogether. You do hear things, you listen. Then Mr. Lamb says, you are not altogether different from people. You are very much like common people. Okay, you are hearing things, you listen to many stories. Okay, you listen to the pattering drops of rainfall. So you are pretty much like the other human beings. So why do you feel yourself or consider yourself different from others? Daddy says, they talk about me downstairs when I am not there. What will he ever do? What's going to happen to him when we have gone? However, will he get on in this world? However will he get on in this world, looking like that, with that on his face? That's what they say. Daddy is now expressing his disappointment to Mr. Lamb, saying that I understand, but people often talk about me. Okay, downstairs also people talk about me. They say that what shall I do in future? What's going to happen to me when my parents are gone, or when my elders are no longer with me? And how am I going to survive in this world? He looks like that, with that kind of a face. So that's all people talk about me. That's what people talk about me. So I become totally frustrated. Like people do not talk anything positive about me. People always talk negative about me. and moreover I've got a burned face, so I've got to bear it all throughout my life. So that is what people, that is why I cannot become natural, I cannot feel like other human beings. Okay, so this is what Dedi says. Okay.